In today's video, I'm going to show you the basics of amigurumi face shaping so you can get that sort of pinched in eyes and extended snout that you're kind of looking for. In this case, I'll show you how to create this little dimple right here if you're making like a cat or a bunny rabbit. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so to get started, we are going to be pinching the eyes a little bit closer together. And to do that, you're going to need your tapestry needle and your length of yarn. And if you're working on a closed piece of amigurumi, technically this one isn't finished, but I can't really get to the head. So if you're working on a closed piece like this, I recommend going in through the back of the head and go in through like one of the holes between stitches. It'll make life a lot easier. And what you're going to want to do is come out right by the eye as close as you can possibly get. May take a second to work your needle into the right place. Okay, so if you can see, needle's coming out just above the eye right there. And you're going to want to pull, but leave probably about this much coming out the back. We will use this to tie off later. It's kind of similar to how you would do embroidery, but you're obviously just using yarn instead. So now that we have yarn coming out through here, what we're going to do is go insert our needle as close to the eye as we can possibly get. And we're going to go straight across and come out in the exact same spot right beside the other eye, as close as you can get to the safety eye. Now, don't pull too hard yet because we haven't actually done our second one. But now what we're going to do is the exact same thing, as we're going to go into our stuffed animal as close to the eye as possible. And then go straight across and come out in front of the other eye. Now we can tug and start to pull the eyes inward, like so. And if you want it to be a little bit if you want to pull them very far inward, you would probably weave back and forth a few more times to make it a little bit tighter. If you just want kind of a slight indent, you can just do it this once. But now we're actually going to pause and we're going to mark out the places where we're going to create the divots for our little cat's face. So keeping centered, we'll say the nose is about here. And then we're going to mark as if we're drawing a line down. Go about there. And that's there's about 3 rows in between where I've marked. And if you imagine, if the nose is sitting here, we're drawing a line down, and then we do a curve. You can place a pin there. And a pin there. All right, I think I might move the nose down slightly. And these up 1 row. And I recommend messing around with pins until you kind of have a feel for it. It takes practice, but you can always you can always rip this out if you don't like the way it's going. There we go. Okay, so something kind of like that. So now what we're going to do is we want this part, this little triangle right here, to pull inward towards the inside of the face. And to do that, we're actually going to have to create some like resistance to pull against it. So we're going to go down as close to the eye as you can. And we're going to come out where this pin is. As close as you can get to that spot. We can remove the pin. And then we are going to go back, not into the exact same place where our yarn came out, but just right beside it. And we're going to go in the same diagonal up towards this other eye. And you see when we start to tug, it's now pulling this little pucker inward towards the face. And we can even make this a little bit more pronounced. So let's do one more time. I'm gonna go into beside the eye. We're gonna go straight across to this eye. I'm gonna tug slightly. And then we're gonna go down out to this spot where we came out before. And then once more back up to here. And so that is how you're going to create that little facial pucker right here for the cat. And now you can emphasize this with embroidery, or you can just leave it assumed and just have a nose here. That's what these are for, is for embroidery. You would run embroidery thread through a curve here. But I think it looks pretty cool just as it is. And so basically when it comes to facial sculpting, what you're doing is running yarn along the inside of your project and tugging two sides together, or in this case, three sides. Essentially, we created a triangle, so we're pinching the eyes and this point here all together. The same kind of concept goes for like pumpkins, for example. You create a pretty round object and then you'll put your needle down through the center, out through the bottom, and then back and forth a few times, and when you tug it, it dimples inward. How you would want to finish off this project is we're going to go, like I said, again, as close to the eye as you can. Now we're going to go back out of the back of the head where we started. We're going to get as close to this stitch as possible, ideally out of the exact same spot. And there we go. Okay. All right. So now that we've got these two back here, we're going to cut the yarn. And similar to how you would tie off embroidery, we're going to tie a knot, or two if you want it super secure. And then you're going to need a smaller crochet hook. And I recommend going into like a decrease stitch or something because the gap will be a little bit easier to fit into. But what you're going to do is reach up to where the yarn is coming out, wrap it around the hook, and then before you finish tugging it through, cut your yarn, tug the remainder inside, and remove your hook. And then you can kind of squish the head to get everything back in place. Yeah, that is how you create some basic face shaping. I hope that was helpful, and if you enjoyed this, go ahead and check out the blog post. It is linked below, and make sure you subscribe for more tutorial videos. You can always join my newsletter if you want to be the first to know about brand new patterns or brand new videos, and I'll see y'all next time.